Hello there everybody and welcome back to my channel. This is another video during the Mighty Music Weekend that I'm calling this because three amazing, highly anticipated albums that I've been looking forward to have come out this weekend. One I have already covered, which is the Olivia Rodrigo record. But now, up next, I actually have the new 21 Pilots record that I've been looking forward to for quite a while, titled Scale and Icy. I can tell you, this album was definitely very, like I said, very highly anticipated for me. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, since probably a year ago when Level of Concern came out. I really like that song. I'm glad that they didn't use that as an album song because that felt more like a one-off type of song to begin with. And so because of that, I'm actually very happy with that. But then back in April, was it April, March, was when 21 Pilots dropped their song Shy Away. Now, I wasn't super hyped with that song. Like, it's an alright song. It's a fine song. It is fine. And it just wasn't the type of song that I really cared for that much. It has grown on me with more listens. I still somewhat like it, but it's not my favorite. But when they dropped Choker back in April, I was pretty excited because I don't know what it was about that song compared to Shy Away, but that one I felt like was a little more experimental and new for 21 Pilots, and I really like that, and I really like the messages and everything, all the lyrics that went into that song. So that's pretty much everything that was dropped up until this album, up until actually just a few days ago, the week of the album dropping, just a few days before the album dropped, song Saturday was released. I didn't listen to Saturday right away. I decided that I was going to wait till the album because I could wait the few days. And now the album is here. I've listened to it. What do I think about it? Well, much like how I feel about Shy Away and Choker, it kind of goes back and forth between the way I feel about both of those songs. There are plenty of songs that I think are fun, enjoyable, really easy to listen to, but not all of them really mesh well within my head. Some of them just feel a little all over the place, while others feel very just, the word I've been using to describe a lot of these songs is just kind of like groovy. That's kind of like, I know it's a weird word. It's not a modern term, but it's the word that I'm going with for a lot of these songs. And they just have that type of hint of like older styles. And I swear I heard some horns placed on throughout some of these songs, which is very interesting. One thing I can say is that Tyler, on some of these verses and everything and choruses, he gets into his little rapping bits and everything that I really like. I like it when he gets into and does his rapping because he's really good at it. And I feel like he has improved a lot, especially since the days of Self-Titled all the way up to Vessel. Tyler's rapping ability has really improved, and it sounds a lot more like emotional and genuine the way he just flows with his words. So after that, I kind of want to get into a little bit of some of the tracks that I really want to just point out here. Probably my favorite of the new songs that I haven't heard has to be Never Take It. That song is, I don't know what it was about it. I kind of like just how the whole chorus comes in and out and everything like that. It's very hooky, very big, and a lot more, like I said, it stands out a lot more than a lot of these songs on the record. But it's just one of those songs that, kind of like how Chlorine was on Trench, Never Take It is kind of like that very unique and stand out track that just keeps me coming back to wanting to listen to that song. Now, other than that, They did get into a more darker edge, especially towards the end of the record with a couple of their songs, but like No Chances and Redecorate, those definitely went a lot more really bass heavy, a little gritty sounding, and Tyler kind of let's go on some of his more rap verses and flows, like all that stuff that I really like about his rapping and all of that. He does very well on those songs, but they're not necessarily my favorites on the album. I do appreciate them for having that little bit of a change compared to the more classical, like almost like 80s esque sounds and everything to him. And that I felt like was good, and that was a good inclusion. But overall, like honestly, the whole album in the end just really kind of fell flat at points. It's not that it's bad by any means, it's just a little dull. And some of the lyrics are pretty generic, and I get that that's kind of like what Tyler and Josh are kind of going for with this album. Being the fact that there is a little bit of a story and everything, kind of followed up from the story from Trench, with the fact that they're supposedly trapped in Dima and everything, and Dima is controlling them, and to put out more generic poppy stuff. And honestly, like, I get it, I get the concept. Does it really work in the end? I think that's up for debate. It depends on what type of fan you are, because you're going to have some fans that are just there for good music, and then you're going to have some fans that are there for like the story, the meaning, and that type of stuff. And those people are probably going to like and appreciate the album a lot more from the whole story and the mind of Tyler. But there's going to be a whole group of fans and a whole group of other people that maybe just have heard a few songs from previous records that are jumping into this and being like, oh, I want to kind of get into 21 Pilots a little bit. I want to listen to more. And they hear some of these songs and they're just kind of like, there's nothing really special about these songs. And that's kind of like the big problem with the record. There's not a whole lot new going for it. There's not a whole lot of innovation. It ends up being kind of pretty bland at the end of the day. But sometimes, even when you start to really listen to those lyrics, it's some of the songs are a lot better, and some of them will and definitely grow on me with more listens. But as of right now, I can't really say that this is by any means their best record. It's not their worst record either. I've never been a huge fan of the self-titled myself. I like some songs from self-titled, but I would definitely put this album as higher than self-titled personally. But that's just me. Don't hate me for my own opinion. It's not fact, it's opinion based. So, but other than that, there's not much to it. I could tell you one song, a couple of songs that, well, mainly just one song that I just really don't care for, and that is Saturday. I don't see much point to that song. It's very poppy. It's probably the most pop sounding song that 21 Pilots has ever put out. And honestly, that's coming from somebody who really sees Blurryface and most of that album as very mainstream. And I will agree that that album is very mainstream, but that was kind of the point of using a lot of mainstream pop and popular elements of what a lot of pop songs were doing at that time. But there were layers of intricacies and nuances within the lyrics and everything on Blurryface that made that album so much better. While this album does not have a whole lot of that, but there were some lines that did pop out on a lot of these songs that actually were very cool, and honestly kind of helped me kind of link and feel a little closer to some of these songs. So like on the opening track Good Day, like just the fact that it's a good day, it's very happy, very peppy opening track, and I think it works for the themes of what this record is trying to go for. But I can definitely say that a lot of these songs are just fine, fun songs, and some of them just feel a little like not quite with me. I know I probably have said a lot of the same stuff already over and over again, but it's honestly just how I feel about this record. There's nothing really wrong with it, but there's nothing really that special either, which is really hard for me to say because there is a lot of really good special songs from the 21 Pilots catalog, especially from years past, from Trench to Blurryface to Vessel, and even the unofficially released Regional at Best, which honestly, if you have a chance, go just look up on YouTube. You can find a lot of those versions of those tracks from Regional at Best, and you can listen to them. Many of them are great. I highly suggest it if you have not done so. Regional at Best is just top quality. So at the end, like I said, this album just didn't really cover everything that I was hoping that it would. It was a little bit of a letdown. So for my final rating, I would give it a solid 6 for sure, maybe a 6.5 on a good day. But that it's better. It's a little better than mediocre, which is honestly probably the best thing that I can say. It's not mediocre, but it's a little better than mediocre. So that's my feelings on the record. So if you like this video, don't be afraid. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want more content. Click that bell to stay notified about any upcoming videos. And I will see you guys in the next video.